Topic is service. Plant trees under whose shade you do not plan to sit. The ignorant work for their own profit, the wise work for the welfare of the world. Bhagavad Gita. I'm an nuance at the ashram. We have been dropped off in village with money, with no money and no food, with a mission to find our own way for 30 days.
The weather is decent and we have been given a warehouse for shelter. We leave our mats there and venture into the village. There are simple huts from which people sell food, spices, sundries. Laundry is strung between the huts. Most people travel by bike or on foot. Some of the children are barefoot. Untethered, without a plan, the first thing we feel is fear, which provokes us to do whatever it takes to survive. We ask for handouts. People in India are generous and often give bread, fruit, or coins to people in spiritual dress. We visit the temple where pilgrims are given free food called prasad. This is satisfied food that is offered to God, then handed out. Anxious about our survival, we resort to the selfishness and hoarding. By the second week, we are in a better shape. We have figured out that we can earn our provisions by offering help to people in village. We start assisting the people with heavy loads or peddlers who could use a hand with their carts. We soon learn that opening our hearts and souls encourage others to do the same. The donation we receive aren't dramatically different from the ones we got when we first arrived, but the exchange gives us a warm sense of communal compassion and generosity. And I feel like I have absorbed the lesson of our journey. We thought we had nothing, and indeed we had barely any material possession, but we were still able to give people our effort. However, by the final week, we are well fed and secure enough to notice something deeper. Though we had come with nothing, we still had a certain kind of wealth. We are stronger and more capable than a lot of people in the village. They are seniors, children, and disabled people on the street, all of them in a greater need than we are. I feel bad, one monk says. This is short term for us. For them, it's forever. I think we are missing something. I add, we do more in this village than survive. We recall Helen Keller's refrain. I cried because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. This is unfortunately no exaggeration. In India, you often see people with missing limbs. I realize that now that we have found our way, we can share the food and money we have received with those who aren't able as we are. Just when I think I have learned the lesson of our journey, I come upon a revelation that affects me profoundly. Everyone, even those of us who have already dedicated our lives to service, can always give more. In his lecture at my college, Gurung Das had inspired me when he said, "Plant trees under whose shade you do not plan to sit." The sentence captivated me and launched me on a trajectory I had never imagined, and now I have to make confession. I have been holding out on you. We have talked about how to let go of influences of external noise, fear, envy, fall, and falsehoods. We have explored how to grow by harnessing our minds, our ego, and our daily practice to live in our dharma. All of this is towards the goal of leading fulfilling, meaningful lives, a worthy path. But here, and on the social media, and in my classes, and even in every medium in which I teach, I haven't yet revealed the most important lesson I learned as a monk, and one that I carry with me every day of my life. Drum roll, please. The highest purpose is to live in service. It's not that I have been keeping service a secret, I mention it often, but I have waited until now to talk about the central role I believe it should play in all of our lives because, frankly, I think most of us are somewhat resistant to the idea. Sure, we want to help those in need, and maybe we already find ways to do so, but we are limited by pleasure and needs of our own work and lives. We want to solve our own issues first. Jay, I'm the one who needs help. I have so much to figure out before I can devote myself to helping others. It's true. It's hard to think about selflessness when we are struggling, and yet that's exactly what I learned as a monk. Selflessness is sure route to the inner peace and meaningful life. Selflessness heals the self. Monks live in service, and to think like a monk ultimately means to serve. The monastic way quotes Benedict monk Dom Alred Graham as saying, "The monk may think he has come to the monastery to gain something for himself, peace, security, quiet life, a life of prayer or study or teaching. But if his vocation is genuine, he finds that he has come not to take but to give. We seek to leave a place cleaner than we found it, people happier than we found them, and world better than we found it." The 16th century Guru Rupa Goswami talks about Yukta Parangya, which means to do everything for a higher purpose. That's real detachment, utter renunciation, perfection. The Bhagavad Gita sees the whole world as a kind of a school, an education system structured to make us realize one truth. We are compelled to serve, and only in service can we be happy. Like fire is hot, as the sun is warm and light. Service is essence of human consciousness. Know the reality of world in which you live. Know it is to be impermanent, unreal, and source of your suffering and delusion. See the purpose of life to be seen gratification. Making ourselves feel good leads to pain and dissatisfaction. Seeing it as a service leads to fulfillment.